Hello, welcome. In this video, I present the English version of the apprenticeship path on nagualism, or toltec shamanism. It is an online course consisting mainly of videos, but I prefer to call it better an apprenticeship path. It is not just one more tool available to everyone, but a real clear guide to nagualism that goes in depth into every practical aspect. The purpose of this online path is to achieve the state of predominance of the energy body. The course is based on the sequence for the predominance of the energy body. That is, the sequence will be the backbone of the course. The sequence is derived from the direct gazing at the rule of the nagual. For this reason, it assumes the task of guide in the path. Each unit will be divided into several parts. In a first part, I will show you one movement from the sequence, and with each new unit, one more movement will be added. With each unit, we will examine the movement related to that unit in its most minute details, in as much depth as possible. This is not, however, a course on the sequence. The movement from the sequence shown in each unit is used to develop a series of topics related to that movement, but also to a more general subject that we cover in that unit, in that lesson. So each unit has a subject that starts with a movement of the sequence, but each of these subjects is then directed on a path that must lead, as the final goal, to the state of predominance of the energy body, which is in fact the last movement of the sequence. It's like the beads of a necklace that are added on the thread until the whole string is completed. I repeat, however, that this is not a course on the sequence. The sequence serves as a base, as a guide. It shows us the direction, but this is an apprenticeship path on nagualism. I start with the sequence as a basis mainly because it gives us access to understanding some abstract aspects with a physical approach, without even having to talk about them directly, which is the best way to do it. In each unit, however, after I show the movement of the sequence, there will be a theoretical part and a practical part. Neither of these parts is less important than the other. And specifically, the theoretical part is not less important than the practical part. Do not underestimate them. The theoretical part acts as a support to the practical part. That is, that part in which we carry out actions, techniques, forms of acts, attitudes. In other words, all those activities that more properly we can call techniques and practices. All of these parts must get the same consideration. In addition, at the end of these three parts, the sequence, the theoretical part, and the practical part, each unit will include a homework assignment. These homework assignments are actually the real core of each unit and the real line that unifies and directs the path. Homework assignments are the core activity to be engaged on every time, in every unit or every lesson. We can say that this series of homework assignments is the real path that leads to the state of predominance of the energy body. Everything that you'll do, which I will show you and explain in each lesson, will be used to carry out this homework and the movement of the sequence in the best way possible. Basically, the path is realized from the point of view of its practical implementation precisely through the completion of the series of tasks, of actions that will lead us to our final goal. I will put out a unit every month, and they will be more or less substantial in terms of the amount of information they contain, depending on the homework assignment. I tell you right now, however, that a month is not nearly enough time to develop what I put out. So it is really useless, indeed it's counterproductive, to become obsessed about being able to keep up. It's more confusing than helpful. Of course, look at the content when it comes out monthly, but proceed on your own time and according to your own needs. Indeed, looking at the content of the units that follow the one you're practicing helps you get an overview of the path, which is very useful. But I repeat, use patience and kindness and don't force the necessary pace, the time and pace you personally need. It is important to follow the order in which I will put the actions, techniques, practices, tips, and especially the homework. There is no point in jumping to the next thing if you have not carried out the previous part with the utmost care and attention. There are reasons why I followed the certain progression. Each step requires its time and the utmost care, and everyone will do it in his or her own time. Each person is different, so some will succeed immediately well, and others will find it more difficult in a different way for each of us. What is important, however, is not to be sprinters, but rather marathon runners, meaning that continuity is the most important requirement. But continuity cannot be maintained if we exhaust our strength immediately. The order in which the contents come out has a precise pragmatic sense that is related to effectiveness and efficiency in the management of energy. In this path, I can afford to insert various aspects in a form that is much more similar to the way my teachers guided me during my apprenticeship. So in this respect, I'm trying to realize a representation of a real apprenticeship, at least as it was in my experience, obviously with the necessary modifications that make it usable in this form. The course will take quite some time, a few years, because in a real apprenticeship it is necessary to get to the bottom of everything as much as possible. Nagualism requires dedication. Already a few years is a little time, in the sense that in reality it is the commitment of a lifetime. The videos are made in a similar way as I did for the books, so using dual perception to bridge between the dark sea of awareness and the place where we live. This also allows the videos to be used for the parallel movement. I mean, when I show you a technique in the video, I'm actually doing it. And so in addition to the explanation, you could access the exact position where the assemblage point settles when doing that practice. With that, I have concluded this presentation. I leave all the links related to the course below. Enjoy your participation and enjoy your path.